Hi, my name is Valerie Goodman. My husband Tommy and I are the chapter presidents for Sleep in Heavenly Peace Gadsden, Alabama chapter. I am thrilled to be able to talk with you today about the annual Pajama Day fundraiser, better known as Pajamas Across America. I want to share with you how we came up with this idea, how it got started, the beginning, the genesis of it, what we've learned as we've done this for 5 years now. So our successes and our failures, what works, what doesn't work, and things we're still figuring out, because what we have discovered, because we serve all the parts of 9 different counties, is every city and county district, every school system has different policies and procedures they follow, and it's not a simple cut and dry thing. So we've definitely learned a lot. But if I could go ahead and preface everything I'm about to say with one thing, is that it's worth the investment. 5 years in, we have made $128,000 to build beds for kids in our community through the work we've done with the annual Pajama Day fundraiser. Now, our Pajama Day fundraiser from the beginning was on Giving Tuesday. And because of that, and because we were trying to brand it before it was a brand, and we decided that it would be on Giving Tuesday every year. And it's what the schools have come to expect. It's what our community has come to expect. You have to see what would work best and be the best fit for your community. But for us, we do it on Giving Tuesday every year. So having said that, let me take you on a journey. Let me share with you everything that we've learned along the way. And please know, we are still figuring out some things as we do this each year. So it began by relationship. There is our chapter is not even quite 5 years old. So this was one of the first things we did as a chapter. So at one of our very initial interest meetings, a lady named Jennifer McGriff showed up. She's a teacher in the local school system. And so immediately we had that connection. And so relationship is important. Everybody on your core team has a different circle of influence. Every individual person in your core team knows somebody that the other people don't know. And then those people, they have their own circle of influence. So I guarantee you there's a connection somewhere within your core team to the local school system. And so we decided to get together and talk, because she also had a background, and she had previously had a nonprofit associated with soccer for at-risk and students who were also living at or below the poverty level. So she saw a lot in her classroom too. She had a food pantry in her classroom because she had kids coming to school who couldn't focus on their schoolwork because they were hungry. And so they began the backpacks over the weekend, sending non-perishable foods home. She also had a closet of clothing, hygiene items. And she had a student who was late arriving to school one day. And she missed the bus to Career Tech. Now, at Career Tech, she was taking woodworking. But this student became very upset that she had missed the bus to Career Tech. And so Jennifer sat down and began talking with her and just trying to figure out, like, why is she so upset that she missed the bus to Career Tech? Well, long story made short, if I can tell this without crying, the girl had been saving the scraps of wood to build herself a bed. I told you I couldn't do it without crying. And that was Jennifer's first introduction into the reality that there were children who didn't have a bed. Now, I've been on multiple third world country mission trips, and in some countries that is the norm. But guys, we all know this is the richest nation, and it slapped her in the face. She did not realize the epidemic that was just behind the veil of that. And so, of course, they got together. They met that need. That child got a bed and a mattress and bedding. But it began peeling back the scales, and Jennifer began to see that this was a huge need in her classroom, as well as her school, and then in her community. And so then when she heard about us launching this new chapter in our community, she wanted to come check it out. She wanted to be a part of it. That was the open door into the first school system for Pajama Day. We began to talk about what it would look like to do an awareness and fundraiser within the schools to get the kids involved, because we are huge believers in getting the students involved. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute as I share with you what we do with the money raised from Pajama Day each year. But so we began just dreaming, really, just this round table where we were dreaming about, could we do this? What would it look like? And because we had that foot in the door with the first school, she took it directly to the superintendent and got it approved at the board level. And because it was approved at the board level, it immediately went out to all the county schools. So that first year, she also presented it through... it got approved at the board level, but on the school level, it was ushered into the schools through something called the Peer Helper Association. And so the students were really taking hold of this and running with it and sharing it within the school, with their peers, with people in the community, just creating that buzz. And so that first year, just the schools, no business partnerships, we raised about $8,000, which was incredibly successful for year one with one school system. And so I think it was about 18 schools. And so we were thrilled. What we began to realize by the second year is that there was a lot of untapped potential. We serve all the parts of 9 different counties, and there's a lot of school systems, but we never wanted to grow so fast that it was not sustainable. So the goal was always to just add on a few schools at a time, because you got to have the manpower, right? And so, still to this day, we are nowhere near tapped into what is potentially out there. There's so much more opportunity, but we can only grow at the rate that we can contain it and do it well. We believe in doing everything we do to the best of our ability with a spirit of excellence, and so we want to present that well. And so we began tossing around the idea of business partnerships, and that wouldn't be introduced until the third year. But in the second year, we began to add, word is spreading. So we're adding a couple of Christian private schools, and 2 or 3 of the city schools got involved. And it's interesting because the city schools approached it vastly different than the county school system. The city school systems were just on a school level. If the principal approved it, then they could do it, and it really helped to have an inside teacher that you worked with. And then also with the city schools, they wanted us to pick up money at the school. Instead of sending it into the central office, because the county schools all sent it into the central office. The central office, they counted it and issued us a check. Well, the city schools wanted it picked up at the school, and we were picking up cash and checks. However, the students brought the donations in. But that was manageable because it was only 2 or 3. So that was manageable. Third year, we start thinking, hey, we can double our reach. We can double our efforts if we add business partnerships. So we started connecting with businesses in the community. And what we quickly found out was a few things. First, if you wait, you lose out. You have to start early, because if you wait until October, November, many of these businesses have exhausted their benevolence funds and their charitable giving, and they don't have anything left to give, and so you miss out. So the earlier the better. We realized that the next year we would need to start securing business partnerships as pledges in the summer. The way that we would make that work is You would have some businesses that would say, sure, I'll match it 100%. Doesn't matter if the school raises 200 or 1,500, we'll match it 100%. That made it easy. But you have other businesses, maybe they're small mom and pops, things like that, that would say, okay, we will match up to a certain dollar amount. Or we'll match up to $500 or up to $750. And then some just said, hey, I'll donate like a flat $250. So we tried to make sure that every school had a business partner, which leads to my second point. We found out real quick that some businesses, some schools would end up with multiple partners, because you would have businesses that wanted to partner with the same school because maybe their children went there, or they had grandchildren that went there, or they were an alumni, or their child was a teacher there. They had some kind of connection to the school. And so we would have some schools that would have 3 or 4 business partners. That's okay. A school can have multiple business partners. The more the better, right? So what we would also discover is there is some administrative behind the scene things that have to happen to collect those pledges. So you, as soon as you know what each school raised in a day, 2, 3 days following the event, then you have to go to those businesses and you have to report to them, hey, your school raised X amount. And I have a background in nonprofit development and marketing, and so I leaned on that and used a pledge letter type approach where I would send out digitally, hey, this is how you can fulfill your pledge, and give them all the different ways that they could make that donation. And so that has worked really well. You will find out, for whatever reason, there'll be a handful of businesses that won't fulfill their pledges, and that's okay. Don't get stuck there. Just let it go and keep moving forward, right? I kind of have a policy that if I have to remind them more than 2 or 3 times, I'm not going to remind them anymore. They know, and there may be a reason. They may just be busy. And for whatever reason, though, past that, it just becomes a nuisance to them, and I don't want to leave that taste in their mouth, so I just let it go after that. So then you have to, if they mail it in or make that donation online, that's ideal, right? But if not, then you have to coordinate the logistics of getting those business donations picked up. What we have found with the business partnerships that want you to pick up their check, it's usually because they want to do a check presentation. And guys, that's gold. I mean, because we believe in the power of free social media platform. We use it. We not only use our Facebook page for Sleep in Heavenly Peace Gadsden, but we are members of all the city pages. So, around here we have all these pages like what's happening in this place and what's happening in this place and what's really happening in this place. We become members of those pages because all the people in our community are members of those pages. And so we keep a presence on those pages as well, and we share what we're doing. And the reason we share what we're doing, there's several reasons. First and foremost, we want to remind people that there is a huge need. We want to keep that awareness there. We want them to realize that there is such a thing as child bedlessness, and that this is such an enormous epidemic that there's no way we can accomplish bringing resolve to this on our own. So that we're stronger together, we're better together, and so not only that, but also, that we want to show them that we are good stewards of the money that they are entrusting to us, that we are doing with that money, those donations, what we say we're doing. And so for that reason, whether it be an event like Pajama Day, or a check presentation, or a speaking opportunity, or a bed build, or a delivery that we have assigned waiver. Does anybody else have trouble saying that word, that I word, indemnification? Okay. We just call it a waiver around here. But we take every opportunity not to overkill, so to speak, but to have a multiple times a week presence. At Bed Builds, we'll do live. We ordered a little microphone for the phone, and we'll do Facebook Live from Bed Builds. Just any opportunity that we have, and any opportunity we have to show gratitude. Because I believe that gratitude goes a long way. So for instance, when a business partner makes a pledge and they fulfill that pledge and they make that donation to us, we're not only sending them a tax letter, we have an elderly lady that the way that she serves as a member of our core team, she handwrites them a personal thank you from us, thanking them for investing in not only us, but in the lives of children and the communities that we serve. Gratitude goes a long way. And so we take every opportunity through Pajama Day to show gratitude as well. Some key points on why I believe that Pajama Day is worth the investment. It is hard in the beginning, and it will be some work every time you add a new school, but it's so worth it. The investment is worth it. I mean, just think, guys, 5 years and $128,000. That's a lot of money for pajamas, because inevitably there are going to be students whose parents will write a $20 check instead of just giving them $2. But then we'll have some that bring in, 2 quarters and 5 dimes and the rest in pennies just to make up $2. It doesn't make a difference. It's an incredible opportunity to get everyone on every level at every age involved. And so timeline, let's talk about timeline. We talk about Pajama Day all throughout the year, but we really have some specific times that we try to hit on. The first one being a save the date, and that needs to go out sometime in May before the end of the school year. Now, I don't know where you are, how your school calendar falls, but about 3 to 4 weeks before the end of school, you need to send out a save the date. Once you've confirmed that these schools are participating. So, of course, only 2 participating schools, or previously participating schools from the previous year, as you're working towards getting new schools involved. And then here, our schools start back in August, so we try to give them that breathing room at the beginning of the year, of the school year, but usually by September, we're reminding them a second kind of save the date and just really trying to get that commitment. Hey, are you or are you not participating this year? Once we have done that, we will continue to work on our business partnerships. And then we will start putting together our marketing. We really believe in the power of just raw, natural, organic, grassroots kind of marketing. And the way that we do it, and has always just worked really well for us, is I shoot video on my iPhone, just like this, put it in iMovie, bedazzle it just a little bit. I have like a 60-second version. That goes to the schools for the students and any digital communications with the parents. And we also have a flyer available. And then I do a longer version of a video where I really break it down for the business partnerships, to show them why we need them to partner with the schools, the difference it's making, the impact it's making. That's not stuff we need to show to a kindergartner, but that is certainly something that can make a difference when you're trying to capture those business partnerships. So we really start putting those together. I will send videos and flyers to the school, usually about 6 weeks out, and I'm in constant communication with whoever my point person is at each school, just through email. I mean, it's simple. Just keep it simple. I don't believe in making it hard. And honestly, if we don't keep it simple, if we make it too hard, the schools won't do it, because they already are in a position where there's not enough hours in the day. They are faced with more than they are equipped to handle sometimes. And if we make it hard, it's just something else that they don't need. So we try to make it as easy as possible for each school. The funds from this is part of the sale. This is part of the marketing. This is part of what sells not only schools participating, but also business partnerships. So we, in the beginning, we just took the money that was raised and we had an annual bed build. We called it, our school partnership pajama day bed build, whatever you wanted to call it. And the schools would come out and Peer Helper Association would come out and we'd build, 40 beds, 50 beds, something like that. But now, the past 2 years, it has raised a lot of money, and it's really more money than we can build in one bed build without wearing our team out. And, instead of splitting it into 2 bed builds, because our bed build dates are already in short supply because of our other community partnerships and commitments, we decided to take half the money and do our annual bed build, and then take the other half of the money and sew it back into the school. So my husband created a program where we go into the high school ag departments. We teach the teacher how to build these beds. We equip them with all the jigs and the tools that they need to do so. And then we take the money and we purchase the lumber and we have it delivered to the school, and the students are building beds in the school. Now, this is incredible for so many reasons. Number one, it's bringing awareness at a young age. These teenagers, many of them, some of them do know, but a lot of them, they're not aware that this is even a need. So it's opening their eyes. It's training them up to recognize the needs of others in their community, how to be a strong member of a community that gives back to the community. And because of this, we are building a stronger community. While they're still adolescents and teenagers, we are beginning to equip them to be a strong member of the community. And we believe that is so important. Just like hate and intolerance and indifference is contagious, but so is kindness and generosity and love and learning to recognize the needs of others. Hey guys, that stuff is contagious as well. And so we believe that this is something that is taught, and so we're passionate about it, and obviously the schools love, because this becomes part of their curriculum. It's not costing them anything. We're taking money that they raised with the pajama day, and at any given time we can have about 3 schools building beds. So that also keeps our inventory revolving, keeps us in inventory even when we're getting a little slim on inventory because it's been too cold to build, or August in Alabama, we try not to build. So it keeps us going. We have now been in about schools in about 4 or 5 of the counties that we serve. We serve all the parts of 9 counties, and so it's becoming really popular. The FFA departments are getting involved, and just this past year, the FFAs from like 6 different schools pulled together, raised the money to host a huge bed build, where all these schools came together in a centralized location on a school day and built beds. It was incredible. We just loved it so much. So that's what we do. And so when you do these fundraisers, these pajama day fundraisers, to have not only a goal attached to it, but like a mission, like a purpose, where you say, we are going to do a school-wide bed build, or we're going to take the funds and we're not only going to have beds to give to kids, but this is how we're going to accomplish it. We're going to allow your students to be a part of building those beds. That's just gold. And so it has really become like a wildfire sweeping across the areas that we serve, and so many schools want to be a part of that. Behind the scenes, obviously, it takes a lot to coordinate with the schools and the businesses and check presentations. And, every school is different on how they want to handle it. One of the second largest school systems that we added to Pajama Day, there's about 15 schools in that district that are participating. They've participated 2 years now. And the way they want to collect and funds and have us receive those funds is vastly different from our first county. The first county made it so super easy for us. All the schools sent it into the central office. They cut us a check. We pick up the check. Thank you. This school system didn't want to have anything to do with the money and didn't want the money in their school overnight. So the same day of the Pajama Day event, we had to have team members at all 15 schools between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. to pick up the money that had been sealed in an envelope, and we needed an armored car to drive around. So these are all things that we learn. They're growing pains. They're good growing pains, right? But we've learned how to have better practices and just policies and protocols in place to sustain this well, but also protect our team. So, that's another reason we don't want to grow it too fast, because the potential is there, guys. We serve 9 counties. There is hundreds of schools that we could be in doing this Pajama Day fundraiser, but we're not there yet. We haven't even tapped into a quarter of it yet, because we can't grow it past the manpower we have to sustain it. And where we do have it taking place, we want it to function well, and to serve us well, and to leave people with a good taste in their mouth when it comes to sleep in heavenly peace. So I think I've covered everything. That's how we got started. That's how we've grown it. If I could leave you with a thought, it is all about relationship. You guys, it's all about relationship. And there's nothing to fear but fear itself, right? So, it's just stepping out there and taking that chance. I mean, the worst that a school or business can tell you is no. And what's so bad about a no? Just thank them and go to the next person. It does take work in the beginning to get it rolling, but it's incredibly rewarding, and it's very fruitful. And we believe in working smarter, not harder. Coming from the background I come from, fundraiser events can be very labor intensive and taxing. And, there was another event that we've done twice now, and honestly, we've just decided that we're not going to do it again. It was the Bands for Beds. Great in concept, right? Very labor intensive, and for the amount of time and effort we put into it, the return was not that great. But this has an excellent return with so much potential to grow even more at the whatever pace we want it to grow, right? If we just wanted to stop here and just do this every year, fine, right? But there's so much potential. And just build those relationships and realize that you don't have to do it all. You've got a team of people who every single person has a different circle of influence. And I guarantee you somebody knows somebody that can help get you in front of somebody. And just also recognizing that every school district may be different, as to where our first school district was, let's present it to the superintendent, let's get it approved at the board, and then it's going to filter down to the schools from there. But the second school district we went into, we just went through a liaison at the Board of Education. It was really up to each school whether or not they were going to participate. We've had other schools, like our city schools in the county that we live in. It's just, if the principal approves it, it's good to go. So, you have to learn every community has a different heartbeat, and so every school district does too. You just have to kind of learn it. But build those relationships, because it's a give and take, right? It's about, yes, we're asking them to align themselves with us and help us, but we're helping them too. We're coming together, doing life together. We're better together, stronger together. And the hashtag we use, we are SHP, humans helping humans. That's what it's all about. It's about relationships. So get out there and do it. I would love to hear from you. I would love to help you in your journey to get this off the ground. And then, let me add that because our Pajama Day is Giving Tuesday, that basically gives us 4 weeks to the end of the year. So we have struggled with getting all those pledges collected and mailed into corporate by the end of the year. That is still something we work on and we strive every year to make accomplish. And inevitably we have those little few checks trickling in last minute. Guys, it is what it is, but it's still... whenever you decide to have your Pajama Day, you're going to have to work those kind of things out. But it's so worth it, so worth the investment. If you have any questions, let me know. You can email me, Valerie.Goodman, Valerie.Goodman, Goodman, at shpbeds.org. I would love to hear from you, answer any questions you have. We could even set up a Zoom call. Talk to you later. You guys have a great day. Bye.